What's up? What's up? Welcome to the market recap. Today is October 15th, 2025. So, no trades for me last night. The main stuff I was waiting for, which were these kind of dollar pairs, never really pulled back, right? They looked pretty nice at the start of the session yesterday. And if we go back in time here, pull these pivots back up. They had these like very minor pullbacks, but not really to any kind of real value. And then price just kind of fell. So unfortunately, wasn't really able to get into any of them. Same kind of thing for all these pairs. Even the PLN pairs, very similar. They all just kind of kept falling, right? No real entries on any of them. The only thing that may have presented an entry was this Euro Pound trade. It's kind of a B tier setup for me. At the time of entry, an alert triggered, but honestly, I was in bed by this point. So I think this potentially could have been taken, but there wasn't really a whole bunch of deceleration on like a 30-second or a 2-minute. It really just kind of hit the level and just immediately reversed. So you would have had to have been really aggressive with an entry on a 30-second to even be able to take the trade. And then it wouldn't even have played out to a full 2R. It would have probably been like a 1R profit, just depending on position sizing. But it's really the only thing from last night's Watchlist that presented any sort of kind of entry. I don't think EuroCAD really pulled back fully at all. And then Pound Yen was nearly a trade. I think I have this kind of messed up a little bit. Okay. But it didn't quite pull back to the level we were looking for, which is more so kind of the pivot in this 200 EMA. I was looking to trade off of a kind of a 200 EMA 10-minute rejection right there. And nearly got a pullback to it, but not quite. So I was watching right here for a little bit more, kind of to retest these previous highs at this point. I didn't really get it. So no way for me to really take this trade either. So yeah. Overall, our biases played out, but it just never really, price didn't pull back in a way that allowed us to get into any of these trades. So cool. I'm going to go build my watch list for the upcoming session, and I'll catch you guys here in a minute. All right, we're back. So I don't have a whole lot tonight. I don't really have anything that's like super clean either. I have this pound group, I have a random Swiss yen, and I have a random Euro Huff. I don't know if I'd label anything in here kind of like A tier. I think probably the best setup is this pound dollar, right? It's kind of a CBO, but you could argue it already had its pullback right here on this 10-minute if you're looking at it. See, this is the kind of negative I have. I would have preferred price just to keep running and then come back for a pullback. But I think it has potential, right? You have a double bottom on your 1 hour, 4 hour, push up, kind of a break of this trend here. You had a retest of the 1 hour 50, and now you're breaking the 1 hour 200, which is your 4 hour 50. So this is essentially a 1 hour CBO, a 4 hour IBO, and likely will be some version of kind of an ACB on a 10-minute, but I mean, it's also trending pretty good on a 10-minute, so I don't know if it's really going to fit. But a decent kind of pullback here likely will line up with the 10-minute 200, I imagine. So you have room to move on your daily time frame. Daily kind of candlesticks are all right. You're bouncing off your daily 200. You've got a low test. You got a bullish engulfing, and room to move. So to essentially our target area. So it's interesting, right? You kind of also have this horizontal level here of these previous highs. Kind of see it here on your 10-minute time frame, right? This is more so kind of a recent level, not too, somewhat respected as a zone. A couple, hits here in the past as well, like right here, somewhere in that area as well. So a little bit of a zone, more so respected recently on your 1 hour and kind of 10-minute time frames, and a little bit of your 4 hour, right? So I think it's an option. The weird thing is like drawing the fibs in here. like I'm drawing it from this kind of low, but I think you could also argue and draw it from that low. But I decided to draw it from this one just to give myself a little better kind of position size stop protection. It's an oddball of a position. But I think either way you drew the fibs would probably work. You would just end up with a tighter position than 22 pips for the trade, but 22 pips fits in here pretty nicely. I could even go a little larger since really my target is more so the R1, the 4 hour 200, daily 50 area. Right? So there's that option. There's pound Singapore, similar kind of concept to pound dollar. Double bottom, break. It's kind of a CBO on both your 4 hour and your 1 hour, though. Likely would be like an ACB style kind of thing on your 10-minute. I think it has potential, but your daily time frame is moving sideways for the most part, right? Kind of is what it is, but it isn't a nice kind of strong move here. So currently I have it's a little easier to draw a fib level in here off this kind of 1 hour low, right? Drawn from there to these highs. If you drew it from a 4 hour perspective, I think it could fit as well. Just be a much deeper pullback. So yeah, I think this is more of a likely play. And then I have pound CAD, which is kind of counter bias, right? Like both of these moves, I'm looking to play pound strength. Pound CAD, I'm looking actually short. So more so, I've been watching this daily level for months now, right? Every time price has gotten close to this level, and it's a little bit of a zone, but I have this line drawn in, which is the very peak. Like these are the absolute highs of this kind of recent, price action. And if we get a push back up to that level today, I'd entertain taking a short from there. So if we're going to get a push, like I want prices to continue where it's at now, and I want it just to keep pushing to that level. If price pulls back, right, and starts to retrace before it gets to that level, then pound dollar, pound Singapore will present entries before this pound CAD will, in theory. So, but if price just continues pushing, I won't get an entry for pound dollar, pound Singapore, but I will get a potential entry for this pound CAD short. That's how I'm looking at it, right? Like it's a level that's been respected multiple times now. Every time it's been touched, it's been reversed off of pretty, at least a few candles on a daily time frame for some really large moves. So it's interesting, right? I don't need price to go back down to lows or anything. I'm looking just to catch a small kind of like bounce off of that area. So we'll see how price develops and responds to it. And then I have this Swiss yen. Kind of interesting. I mean, price on yens are just doing whatever they're doing, going to the moon. That's what it feels like lately, especially on this Swiss yen. And it's just price at all-time highs. You don't really have a whole lot from here. But this 1 hour price action isn't too bad. It's kind of nice in the simple fact of like we had this pullback, which essentially is like an ACB on your 1 hour. Now we're getting a follow through. It's an ATC on the 4 hour, right? And essentially it's becoming like an ATC on the 1 hour. All right, just essentially wave one, break a trend, coming back for retest of the 50 EMA and the pivot in 0.382, and then take it long. That's how I'm looking at this. It's a little oddball. I don't trade these setups that often, but I don't have a lot tonight. And we're getting into the last kind of 2 sessions of the week, and I haven't taken a trade this week. So I'm just trying to give myself some options here. I think the 10-minute time frame looks okay. You have a clear break of trend, right? You have a higher high in your 10-minute, on your 1 hour, and on your 4 hour, all have a higher high. I don't need price to push to the highs, but I could see price pushing to the highs to form like a double top and then give a reversal. I think it's plausible. So right now, price action is still pretty bullish on your 1 hour, 10 minute, kind of 4 hour time frames. I think it needs at least another kind of a bounce, even if it's to these previous highs and decelerate from there and give a reversal, like a double top and then a reversal, but something, right? So I think it has potential, probably worth a shot, see what happens. And then I have this Euro Huff. So probably of all the setups that I have flagged, is my least favorite. I think it's an option, but it's not the best. You're kind of bouncing off your daily 50, but you've got multiple candles now here bouncing off your daily 50. You're somewhat breaking this trend on the 1 hour. It's kind of messy price action on the way down. I don't really like this kind of chop, double bottom-ish on your 10-minute, 2-minute, right? But I could see price pulling back and retesting the 1 hour 50 and 200 for a CBO on the 1 hour, an ATC on our 4 hour, and be like an ACB on the 10-minute. So I think it has potential for a short play, but I'll have to see how it develops and how it reacts to these areas. I want to see some pretty nice micro time frame reversals, be it like a wedge or a triangle or a double top or something like that to trade off of. So be a little patient on this pair. Yeah. And then the only other kind of caveat to it is the spread. Like right now, the spread's pretty large. I think this is one that tightens up for me during London. So if it pulls back prior to London, then probably will be a no-go just from a spread perspective. But I'm pretty sure this pair is tradable for me around London. So we'll see what happens. And then on development watch, still watching dollar CAD. Haven't really got the breakdown that we're looking for yet, but it looks like we're starting to get close. And then euro dollar, we never got the pullback we were looking for yesterday. So now I'm more so interested in the kind of the weekly IBO that's coming up, right? Be like a weekly IBO, 4 hour kind of ACB. And we'll see what it looks like on the 1 hour when it gets there. But I've put an alert essentially at the 4 hour 200 daily 50 area. See how price reacts there. So we get some deceleration and some trend reversals on our micro time frames. And I'm interested in a potential short from here. The only negative is that we are trading back into like this double bottom. But I think the move from that double bottom is kind of already kind of played itself out by the time price gets there. And still waiting on the Kiwi breakouts, right? Just got some sideways price action on this Kiwi dollar. We got more sideways price action on Kiwi CAD, pound Kiwi. Kind of fitting with the pound pairs, pound bias for the night. So I had a good kind of bullish push. Waiting to see like a breakdown here. Kiwi Swiss, same thing. Just waiting to see for a breakout upwards. Eventually, this should be a nice IBO. And then Euro, Kiwi, same thing, right? Waiting for a breakdown, potential IBO. And then Kiwi Yen, waiting for a breakout. And then probably by the time this breaks out, it's going to be like a CBO, I imagine. So see what happens. But yeah, that's really all I got. Not a whole lot of nice setups for the night. Kind of quiet. That's kind of how I felt the past few days, week. Like I haven't been actively trading, but I've been scanning. It only takes me 20 minutes or so to scan on market rollover. So it's pretty easy to do. Sometimes if I'm not even at home, I could do it from my phone just to get a quick kind of glance about what's going on. And I've not been seeing a whole lot of clean stuff. I mean, we had some clean stuff last night, but that was the first day in a little while, at least to like my standard of clean. And then the problem with once you do get it is it doesn't always pull back. So I'm trying to pay attention to more stuff like this, right? Like I'm interested in taking these 2 pound trades long, but I got this pound CAD that could be a short. So if the other pairs don't pull back, then maybe I get a shot at this trade. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. So how I want to start approaching some of these trades. So see. Either way, that's all I got. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.